There is no word to explain these abnormalities in the society when the people that have been mandated to protect the lives and property of citizens become the tormentors of such people. The extrajudicial killing of innocent citizens who had no idea that they would one day become victims of unknown circumstances continue to be a daily occurrence in present-day Nigeria. While many are still battling to survive a government which struggles to cater to the basic needs of her citizens, the very citizens wake up each day unsure if they would see the light of another day. The Special Anti-Robbery Squad came to be 28 years ago, precisely the 6th of September 1992. Late Colonel of the Nigerian Army Ezra Rindam, stationed in Lagos, did not know he was embarking on a journey of no return as he was killed by a group of policemen on patrol. As a result of this incident, the police were banned from patrolling highways for that period of time. This provided an opportunity for armed robbers who exploited the situation to terrorize and dispossess innocent victims of their belongings. The hierarchy at that time had to set up with an approach to salvage the situation which had gone out of hand in Lagos. The then Inspector General of Police, Aliu Atta, considered Simeon Danladi Midenda, an Assistant Commissioner of Police, as the best man for the task, having performed credibly well in Benin, dealing with high-profile robbers. Midenda, on getting to Lagos, set up an anti-robbery squad under advice of senior police officers he met on ground. As at then, only Lagos State Police had an anti-robbery unit in 3 locations, namely Alagbon, Panti, and Zone 2 commands. However, ACP Midenda's team was special in quotes, as the name was called Special Anti-Robbery Squad. His men were clothed in mufti and drove in unbranded vehicles, appearing like everyday citizens. To some, the glory days of SARS were the first couple of years it was created, and for the armed robbers, their encounter, knowingly or unknowingly, with the SARS operatives can best be described as chickens coming home to roost. As duty called, Midenda, the SARS boss at that time, was transferred from Lagos to Umuahia in the year 2002. With him out of sight, many SARS departments sprang up in various state commands, with little or no experience on how to go about raiding out the hardened criminals and criminality. These degenerated into the shedding of the blood of innocents without any first-hand knowledge about the crime committed. Citizens, young, middle-aged, old, all live in fear when they set out to go about their daily routine. The cases of Slick and Kolade Johnson cannot be forgotten in a hurry. Up-and-coming musician who goes by the name Slick, with birth name Chibuke, was allegedly shot by the police after a hot chase by SARS operatives. The late Slick and his friends were accused of theft. A Mopol officer, on sighting them, shot Slick repeatedly, leaving him to die in cold blood, even when there were still chances of his survival. An action and incident that was outrightly condemned by the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, who called for the disbandment of SARS. Kolade Johnson was shot dead by SARS operatives when the team stormed the area to arrest a man suspected to be an internet fraudster. According to reports, in an attempt to disperse the crowd that had gathered to stop the police from arresting the man, a SARS operative fired a gunshot to the ground, which led to the crowd fleeing the scene. However, in the process, Kolade was shot from behind. Reactions from social media and in the mainstream trailed this matter with the hashtag Justice for Kolade. They stopped by the actions of his men with call to action from Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who was acting in capacity of the president. The then police chief Ibrahim Idris in December 2017 ordered that SARS be restructured under the office of a police commissioner, and their operations and directives should be controlled from the force headquarters. This, they hoped, would be the light after the tunnel. Sadly, nothing has actually changed and people are still not safe. Perhaps having had enough of their excesses, the IGP decided it was wise to ban the personnel of the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad and other tactical squads of the force, including the Special Tactical Squad, Intelligence Response Team, Anti-Cultism Squad, and other tactical squad operating at the federal, zonal, and state command levels from carrying out routine patrols and other conventional low-risk duties, stop and search duties, checkpoints, mounting of roadblocks, traffic checks, etc. An order which was contained in a statement issued by the Force Public Relations Officer DCP Frank Mba. No personnel of the force is authorized to embark on patrols or tactical assignments in Mufti. They must always appear in their police uniforms or approved tactical gear. The IGP's directives comes against the backdrop of findings by the leadership of the force that a few personnel of the tactical squads hide under these guise to perpetrate all forms of illegality, contrary to the standard operating procedure, code of conduct, and rules of engagement establishing the squads. Specifically, the IGP has warned the tactical squads against the invasion of privacy of citizens, particularly through indiscriminate and unauthorized search of mobile phones, laptops, and other smart devices. They are to concentrate and respond only to cases of armed robbery, kidnapping, and other violent crimes when the need arises. The IGP notes that the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squads and other police tactical squads remain a critical component of the force in confronting prevailing and emerging violent crimes in the country. He, however, condemns every act of unprofessionalism, abuse of human rights, and high-handedness by some personnel of the squads. He has therefore ordered the X Squad and the monitoring unit to embark on immediate, massive nationwide monitoring of activities of tactical squads and other police officers on the road. They are to ensure prompt arrest, investigation, and prosecution of all erring of police officers who violate these directives and other extant regulations of the force. The IGP warns state commissioners of police, including the FCT, Commissioner of Police in charge of Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squads, Supervisory Zonal Assistant Inspectors General of Police, will be held liable for any misconduct in their area of assignment. The two operatives of the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squads and their civilian accomplices operating in Lagos State, Inspector Saleh James, Inspector Monday Uchiola, and Okochukwu Ogbonna, have been arrested by the Lagos State Police Command for acts of professional misconduct, including extortion and intimidation of innocent citizens with their operational vehicle impounded as disciplinary procedure commenced against the defaulters. Many question why reported cases of police brutality still happen on the heels of newly signed Police Reform Bill, which is supposed to rid the force of the menace. The IGP has reaffirmed his commitment to bequeathing to Nigerians a reformed police force that is accountable, responsible, and ever ready to defend and uphold the rights of the citizens while discharging its duties of keeping the people safe and secure. He enjoins the citizens not to allow the misconduct by a few personnel of the force to negatively impact on their belief, confidence, and trust in the police. Some of the comments gathered by Roots TV and on social media reads in quotes, "All we are saying is #end SARS and not ban SARS. They are worse than armed robbers." Another one reads in quotes, "One is not comfortable with the phrase banning of routine patrol. What about on-routine patrol? These things can easily be made interchangeable by the same people and their godfathers. They do not operate on their own. Banned from operating, they must be given closest marking." While this order of disbandment has been given countless times and the situation still remains the same, the question on the lips of many is, has the government ended SARS in words or by action? SARS was banned in December 2017, July 2018, September 2019, and now October 2020. What is even more worrisome is that despite IGP Adamu's order being seconded by the presidency, police brutality is still the order of the day in Nigeria. A cross-section of citizens says it appears the fire brigade order and approach is just to douse the tension for a moment. without actually addressing the root cause of brutality among some police personnel. But another observation raised by persons who spoke with our crew off camera was that even if SARS department is scrapped, there will still be reported cases of abuses against innocent people. They called for a serious reorientation of men across all levels of our security apparatus and agencies to bring about the needed change in the force, or else the cries of citizens will be likened to medicine after death.